Hi guys, tuning in for this week's update. I know I said on my first video that I hadn't started paper trading and wasn't anywhere close to do them, but I have actually been dabbling a little bit this week. So I've taken the 3 paper trades. The first 2 were for a loss. I think I lost about $2 overall over the 2 trades. And to be honest, they weren't the best setups. I think I just got a bit overexcited and I just kind of wanted to have a go. But I did learn a lot from actually placing the paper trades, even just from setting my risk reward, setting my stop loss, trying to execute my price, and just watching the market live minute by minute. So I did get a lot out of it, but also it did teach me that don't take a trade just because it looks half okay. And then there was my 3rd trade, which was actually for a profit. So really pleased with that. It was a tiny profit, but still a profit. But I'll get into that in a little bit. So this week started off really quiet, and the general consensus was not to trade at the moment because everything is just fading, and just to kind of use this time to learn and wait until the market heats up again. So I did actually take my first 2 trades during this quiet period, so it wasn't really the best time to trade from the advice that I was getting from my tutor and his group. So that could have been also a reason for my loss, but probably weren't the best trades anyway. So I was kind of thinking what I'm actually going to talk about in this video because it's been really quiet this week. But then a stock popped off, DWTX was the ticker, and it went from around $2 up to $30, so like a massive move. And I had seen it that day and I'd put it on my watch list just to watch it for later down the line. So if it closes really strong, then I'll wait for big pullbacks over the coming days, and then wait for a potential bounce, and that's where I could possibly play it. So I had it on my watch list. The next day, my brother had actually messaged me. He's a day trader, and he'd said DWTX yesterday, make sure that you can learn from this because it was a biotech stock and it was a low float with a recent reverse split. So basically the company had reduced the amount of shares outstanding, which means that there's less shares to trade. So if people do buy and sell, there is scope to move the price significantly. So there is scope for volatility. So biotech, low float, recent reverse split, and gone from the $2 to $30 range. So he said if you go back and look at yesterday's chart, you will see similar stocks that have followed the same pattern. Basically, they're following in Sympathy. So I thought we'll go and have a look at the charts for this Sympathy play because I learned so much from it. And this is where my 3rd little trade came in as well. So I'll walk through that. So if we go to the charts and have a look at DWTX, this is the day here, which is the 23rd of January, 2025. This video might go out a little bit late, so you can always go back and look at the day if you want. So yeah, here you can see on the daily chart, it's gone from around 250s to all the way up to $30. So massive move. And if I go to the 1-minute chart on that day, 23rd of Jan, you can see that it started to move around-ish 3:30 is when it started to ramp up and then just go nuts. So 3:30 UK time. So my brother said if you go back and look at this day here, you'll also see similar stocks, RNAZ, move the same. So this was also a biotech company, a low float, because it tells you on the scan the float, and in the range, the same price range. Let's see, it's was $3.50 the day before, so it's very close to where DWTX started from in the $2 range. And it was a recent reverse split, and that will show on the chart as this S symbol. So it's just matching the criteria of DWTX, and this is the same date, the 23rd of January here. Sorry, kind of blocking the view there. You can see 23rd of January. And we can see that it's gone from like 350s all the way up to like the $12. So a really big move as well. So it's just following the same suit as WTX. But if we go into the 1 minute chart over here on that day, we can see that it was following in Sympathy, and it did start to move not until 6:30 that day, or even 7 o'clock. So if you were watching DWTX, you could have looked at that and said, let me find similar stocks and see if they're going to do the same thing. I mean, you could have gotten here 3 hours after DWTX was starting to go crazy and caught a really big part of the move. So there was definitely time to make some really good money there. And the other one he said to look at was EVAX, CVAX. This day here, again, going from the same price range, $2.39, and that went all the way up to $4.20 on that day. Again, not as big a move, but still a massive move. You can make a lot of money on that. Again, a recent reverse split. A biotech company as well, low float. And if you go to the 1 minute chart on that day, wasn't really doing much. And then really just towards the end of the day, at 9:15, just before the market closed, you can see the volume comes in and the price starts to spike, and it continues after hours. So you could have even held it overnight, and then pre-market here still continues to go up. So just a really good learning opportunity for me, really, just to see that you've got one big runner, you can then find other similar stocks that fit the same criteria and catch like a delayed move. So I wasn't looking at that on the day, so missed out on all those. But the next day, so the day after, the 24th, which is when my brother highlighted all of this to me, I checked my scan and I saw that this stock here, ELAB, I looked at it, it was a biotech company, low float, recent reverse split, as we can see on the daily chart, and it was up only about, still a big move, 40% on the scan. So I checked the minute chart, and I could see that yesterday, the day that DWTX spiked, didn't do anything. But then on the morning of my scan, it was starting to move up. I think I caught it around, I think it was around this time, like 1ish, something like that. So it was in this area. So I texted my brother saying, oh, look, I think ELAB is doing the same thing. I think it's moving in Sympathy, and it didn't move yesterday, but it started to move today. And he said, yeah, that's exactly it. So I was really pleased to identify that. I was like, oh yes, I'm actually seeing something, and can see how it works. So yeah, he actually went and took that trade. I think he bought it around, can't actually remember now. I think around, I want to say 290, and I think he must have sold it around 340. So really quick trade. So yeah, so that was kind of cool to see. And then I thought, let me kind of just see if there was the option to play it once the market opened, because I'm kind of still waiting until market open to do trades, and this had just caught me really off guard. It was all very last minute, so it's not like I could come up with a plan straight away with my sort of level of sort of beginner experience, but I had time before the market opened to have a little look at possible levels of support and resistance. So I chose the $3 mark as my risk, just because it's been moving in that range here, and it's a hold on a mark, so it could potentially be an area for it to bounce off. And I had chosen the 357 sort of area as my first level of, that should really be green, profit taking mark, just because I went back to the daily chart and saw this was high volume day. I'm blocking it there, but it was about 20 million. And it topped out at that area of 356. So although the volume was a lot higher here on this day that it moved, it was still probably going to be a point of some form of resistance, which actually, when I looked at the pre-market data, it did have resistance there before it eventually broke out. So I thought that's definitely a good area for a first profit-taking mark. And then I chose the pre-market highs as another area. So going into the market open, it did actually come back down and touch the $3 mark exactly and push off it. So it was a really good level of risk there. I'm really happy with that. And I managed to take a paper trade at 309 I got in. And then I sold half, bang on 359 actually, I think it was. So again, really close to my profit mark. So again, really pleased with that. And then I left another half, the other half, because I thought it was going to go further. I thought I could sell some here into VWAP and then just leave a little just in case it goes any higher. But as you can see, it didn't do that. I had a stop loss at 299, just below where my risk was at 3. I just thought I always like to do it like a penny below, because I know that other people will have their stops at 3, so it probably will hit there. But yeah, I got stopped out at 299. So yeah, I'm just quite happy with where I did actually put my risk. And really, if I'd known about this whole sympathy play thing, which was very new to me, and something that my brother highlighted to me the next day. So if I had known about it, I probably ideally would have played it pre-market, just because at the moment, it seems like pre-market is the best time to trade at the moment. It's where they're getting the spikes, and then when market opens, things are just fading. So at the moment, the theme is pre-market can be a good time to trade, and you can see in this instance it was the better place to take the trade. So yeah, I've just learned so much from that, and I did turn over a profit, which was a whopping $3. So I am in a profit now of, well, I started the paper trading account at $1,000 and now it's 1,028 cents after my 2 losses. But hey, it's still green for now, so I can enjoy that until my next probably 10 trades, which are probably going to be red. But you know, for now, I'm happy with that. So although it's only paper trading, I do actually want to make it work and see if I can turn a profit over time. But I do expect to be taking like a lot of losses when I do start to consistently paper trade. And the good thing about all these big runners, the ones that do finish strong, is I can actually put them on my watch list and then wait for them to pull back and then have a bounce and then look at trading that. So I hope this has been interesting, and I will see you next week.